Hey you guys, I just wanted to take this opportunity and to let you know we have the up and coming Game Changer Summit live coming up on January 27th to 29th. A 3-day virtual experience with 24 world-class game-changing leaders from around the world. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, marketing, branding, personal development, health, self-mastery, business and leadership, just to mention a few. We're going to be featuring Dr. John D. Martini, Marshall Goldsmith, Bob Berg. We're going to be featuring the Instagram influencer, Natasha Grano, and many, many more. Now, you can become a participant in the Game Changer Summit Live for free. All you have to do is go to the following URL, https://www.thegamechangersummit.com/sign-up-form. For more information, click on the link below, because honestly, this is probably the David versus Goliath of all summits. It is the summit of the year. See you soon, take care, and we'll see you there.
This is the Game Changers Experience. Deep dive conversations with leading business disruptors, Olympic athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and influencers from around the world. This show will teach you insights about the winning principles in mindset, productivity, marketing, branding, entrepreneurship, business strategy, and more. Hosted by Productivity Authority, business strategist, former elite athlete, author, and public speaker, Adam Strong.
If you'd like to ask a question, please use the comment section below, or just wave your hands. It'd be great to see you guys. If you do ask a question, it'd be great to see your faces. So if you can have your cameras on, that would be amazing. And, you know, again, there's no topic, there's no theme. It is down to you. You know, so who would like to either ask me a question, whether it be about your business or whatever it might be, or have a question and answer? If you'd like to have this opportunity, then either wave or use the comments in the comment section box, and I'll call you up. Who'd like to go first? Okay, what do you think about using webinar to teach a tattoo class? Okay, that's an interesting question, Lydia. Using a webinar to teach a tattoo class. Do you know what? Is that your business? Do you do tattoos? Is that, because I'd be interested to know more about that. Because normally with a webinar is normally you're teaching them something, right? You're not really, when we do webinars as an example, right? And it's a little bit different for maybe your industry or whatever it might be. But when we do a webinar or a masterclass or whatever it might be, we essentially create 5 different learning points, okay? Or 5 different touch points. And say, you know, this is going to be the agenda. This is what you're going to learn. And we actually teach our participants on the webinar. It isn't so much, we have Q&A at the end, but it isn't really kind of one of those interactive sessions. It's kind of more, we've got 90 minutes, 60 minutes together. This is what we're going to cover. And really what you're doing is you're teaching them, and you're teaching them a way to do that. When you're doing something like tattoos, for example, which is essentially, I'm assuming, no, I'm no tattoo expert, by the way, far from it, in fact, but it's going to require probably some, some face-to-face contact, right? But I personally wouldn't teach a tattoo class through a webinar as such. That really kind of needs to be, but again, depends on the goals. Who's it going to be for? What's the problem you're trying to fix, or how are you making people's lives easier? So here's the reality, guys, right? You need to be in a business where you're either fixing a problem, okay, that's the first thing, or you're making someone's life easier or happier or more convenient. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, if you're just creating an idea which doesn't do any of those things, it's not scalable. It's a complete waste of time. And I only really work with businesses that can identify, or we can identify that it fixes either a problem or makes people's lives easier. Otherwise, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. You remember, you're in business to make money, okay? Help others along the way, but ultimately, if you go to your local tax office or whoever you pay government taxes to, and you ask them, you say, why are you in business? It's simple. We're here to make money. So if you can't make money, that it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. So I hope that kind of answers the question, Lydia. So who else would like to ask a question as well? By the way, if you want to unmute yourself, feel free to do so, and we can go from there. Albert, do you want to ask a question, Albert? Would you like to ask a question? I don't think we've spoken before, actually. I know Gerald was on yesterday, which was good to see. We've got Leslie. Let's just come in as well. Leslie Jones. Chris Hanna. I was going to say, by the way, I'm terrible at names, by the way, and pronunciations because of my dyslexia. But what I was going to say is your book hopefully will be posted next week. All right. Good to see Kelvin in there, Kelvin Chang as well. Guys, this is an opportunity for you to get some coaching, some mentoring, and bounce off ideas. Or if you have Q&A about the summit last week, then we can do that as well. So yes, it makes sense teaching people to do tattoos, and they can do it as a side thing. Yeah, but again, you know, like I said, Lydia, yes, you could teach them that, but the answer to the answer to the question is are you going to be able to make money from it? Is it scalable? Okay, this is a bit like doing, for example, one of the first things I used to do when I was 18 years old, I became a sports massage therapist, right? And the reason for that is because I had a big dream. The big dream was that I wanted to work on cruise ships and become a personal trainer and do sports massage therapy, as an example. But if someone has said to me, hey, I'll teach you how to do sports massage therapy, right, through a webinar, I'd be like, that's not going to work for me, because I need to know about the techniques. It is massage therapy, the same with tattoos, is that you're dealing with people's skin and you're dealing with touch, and, you know, you're using needles as well. So the answer to the question is I wouldn't recommend it personally, but, you know, like I said, it's entirely up to you. I would probably do something on a more one-to-one basis. But as I go back to it, is it make money? Does it make money? Is it scalable? Can it be monetized? If the answer is yes, then great. But if not, then don't bother. I personally wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it is a scalable business because it's nothing new. So it's all good. I missed yesterday's session. Is there a recording? Yes, there is a recording. We're probably likely to put it on the podcast, Albert. We had a short session yesterday because we only had a small number of people, but it was only for I think it was about 25, 30 minutes. So we'll probably put it up onto the podcast, which is the Game Changers Experience. Absolutely. So like I said, guys, this is your opportunity to answer questions. I work with 6-7 figure businesses to be able to get coaching, mentoring, or answer me any questions around the summit or whatever it is. Step up. Or what I can do is I can shout out your name, and if you have any questions, then I can go. In fact, let's do that. Let's start off with the top. Let's start off with Albert. Albert, do you want to ask a question? And if you don't worry. I'm not going to be offended in any way, shape, or form. Do you know what would be really rewarding? If you can, and if you're listening in, guys, if you have a question, is to unmute yourself, because what we can do is we can make it more interactive. You're going to get more. You're going to get more session. You're going to get more out of this if we have more of an interaction and a dialogue rather than sort of using the comment in the comment section. I don't mind doing that, but if you're not available, then do that. But if you are available and you can speak, unmute yourself. So Kelvin, if you're there, unmute yourself and we can have a dialogue about it. Puntat, you had your hand up. You want to come on?
Yes, I would like to have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. For the Game Changers, you have been connected to big people, So I just want to know how did you get to network with them and invite them to be speakers in this event?
Yeah, great question. Thanks very much for the question. I really appreciate it. So first of all, the reason I get to partner and I suppose hustle and associate myself with very, very large speakers is, number one, is that I created a compelling vision. You've got to create a compelling vision for people to encapsulate what you are about. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I live by a set of values, but what I do is I actually execute, and like my values, which is all based around delivering value to people, I actually show my values. I actually practice, and by doing the summit, for example, one of my values is all about serving people and helping people and adding value to people. I do that by demonstrating that throughout the summit, if that makes sense. Yeah. And so some of the big speakers that we've had, they're attracted to that. They're attracted and they love. And the third thing I would say is also your energy. Like for me, I'm very high energy, right? I'm passionate, I'm enthusiastic, and they're attracted to that. And so I only really tend to associate myself with people that have a similar values to me. So I think everyone pretty much from the summit, of this summit in particular, I was very, very careful. I have to be very careful about who I associate myself with. Okay, I have to be get careful because of my reputation and my brand. Because my brand, your brand, Puntouch, and everyone's brand is your reputation. So if you go and hustle and you go and associate people that doesn't align to your values and your belief systems, then guess what? What's going to happen is there's going to be repercussions off the back of that. The clientele, the prospects that you're trying to attract into your life, okay, they're going to be put off by that. So there needs to be an alignment. There needs to be some sort of alignment. There needs to be some sort of value that you're actually demonstrating. For me, a lot of the clients that know me pretty well, they know that I deliver on my promises, number one. So I always deliver on my promises. And number two, I always take action. I don't care about fear. I don't have time for fear. I give as good as I get. And so I hope that kind of answers your question.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's really good. Because for me myself, I would like to add values to Thai people the same. I'm from Thailand anyway. Yeah, so I would like to do similar things to you. And I have connections with big names in Thailand too. So I would like to do something similar. Because you are an inspiration.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's interesting.
Thank you.
Hopefully, in the next 4 to 6 months, I can't give you an exact date yet, but I know that we're going to be doing a East Meets West summit as well, where we bring influencers and speakers from Asian continents and Australasia and entwine them into more people in the Western world, such as North America, Canadians, and Europeans. So it's not really a battle as such, but it's kind of showcasing, how we can entwine culture into helping people around the world. Because for me, I want to reach as many people as I can and impact as many people as I can around the globe. So that's what I want to do. So yeah, I hope that fulfills the question anyway.
Yeah, the connection was cut off just now, so.
Oh, apologies. It's a little bit flaky. We've got a bit of a storm outside, so I apologize. But thank you very much for your support. I really, really appreciate it. Very good. Who else would like to ask me a question, by the way, guys? If you have a question that you'd like to ask me, feel free to unmute yourself. But if you definitely can't unmute yourself or you can't be on camera, then use the comments in the comment section below. It's not really a problem. We can try and go from there. Who else have we got?
Hi, Adam.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Even though 2 days in a row I've what do you call it? The night before I have a few hours rest, then I get up early to work on my client request so that I get a jump start on it while people are sleeping and I can send it off to them before they wake up, hopefully.
Very nice.
Okay. I've been toying with an idea. Okay, more than one idea, but I'm not sure whether it is something to look into because one of which is to go into coaching. Okay, the other one is to the word that would come to me is there's no phrase because I'm deliberately not narrowing it down because there are possibilities and opportunities in terms of connecting people who have similar interests or they based on the information they tell me. One of my talents is I can see or I know who needs to be connected with whom.
So what are you doing right now, by the way? What is your occupation? What do you specialize in?
I'm a freelance consultant. I provide services like resume writing. I improve and enhance my client's resume or CV. I do proofreading. I do translation. I do copywriting when the client requests it. But my niche service and most popular service is resume related.
Okay, resume related. Okay, but you wanna move into coaching? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you
Yeah,
want to do?
coaching is something I'm thinking about, but I know it will be something that will take time because, for credibility's sake, of course, it's necessary to get some certification.
Yeah, do you know what? It's an interesting question, actually.
So,
It's an interesting question. First of all, I can say to you that resume writing is not scalable because it's not anything new. It's been around for many, many years. It's definitely not going to make you rich, and it's definitely not going to create impact. Going into coaching, which is, I'm always supportive of people that want to go into the coaching industry. Now, I've been in the industry for a long, long time. Um, One thing there's a number of things that I'd like to share some advice, and I'd like to share some advice about kind of getting into the coaching industry. The first thing that I would endorse you to do is to make sure that, number one, is that there is a market for what you actually want to offer. So again, I go back to yesterday's coaching call, which was all about, what are the problems that you're trying to fix? So coaching comes in many different forms. You've got life coaching, business coaching. You've got there are many different types of forms of coaching. What sort of form of coaching are you thinking about?
life coaching, I believe.
You want to go into life coaching like Tony Robbins?
Okay, I've not done much research about this. Yes, I know they're business coaches. I know they're life coaches, fitness coaches, etc.
Yeah. So okay, so it sounds to me as if like you're not really sure about what coaching what kind of remit you'd like to go into. Would that be a fair assumption?
Yes, you can sort of say that. Definitely not fitness coaching. Definitely not health coaching. Definitely, maybe the closest may I think is would the correct term would be life coaching. I think
Yeah.
because some people naturally gravitate to me and just ask me for my opinion or my advice, and of course I've done it casually. So this is just an idea I'm thinking of, but I know, yes, there's a lot of people doing coaching. So it has to be, as you said, there has to be the demand for it, and it has to be quite clear which area of coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. So you need to decide. So I'll go back to yesterday's coaching session, and what we discussed is if you're going into an industry or you're going into an industry or a niche, essentially that you're unsure of. Firstly, you need to decide on what particular area of coaching you want to go into. So that's the first thing. Secondly, as I say to a lot of my clients, is what is your big differentiating USP? What makes you unique about what you do? Does that make sense? So that's the second thing. Thirdly, is don't call yourself a coach. So one of the things that we teach, in fact, Tom,
So come up with a more unique term. Is it a differentiating factor?
absolutely. I mean, so one of our clients, Tom Thompson, has actually just come into the room, and he's part of our mastermind club. And one of the things that we teach in our mastermind club is essentially teaching them essentially don't call yourself a coach, don't call yourself an accountant or whatever it might be. Call yourself something which is completely unique to the industry. So, for example, people know me as the game changer, right? That's what people know me as. My friend Sammy Blendell, who was on the summit last week, she's called the brand builder. So you've got to create something which is completely unique to what you offer. Don't call yourself just a coach, because everyone calls them. There's about 1.5 million coaches out there. It doesn't set you apart from anybody else. And the fourth thing that I would say, which I think is extremely important, is do something which has an interest, which you have an interest in, and that you're highly passionate about. And if you're not sure about where those passions lie, write them down, write down your interests, write down your passions. And I kind of used a really good example yesterday where I met a couple actually, and they were from North America. They were in very minimum paid jobs as such. One of them lost their job and they were basically just barely surviving. They couldn't even pay their mortgage or even eat. It got that bad. So what they did is they decided to go into the fitness industry because they love fitness. They love staying in shape and things like that. And essentially what they did is we created a digital business, literally a digital business, a bit similar to what Vince Tam was talking about, offering their audience a customer journey. So outlining a customer journey that fixes a particular problem. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to specifically focus on, I think it was women between the ages of 35 and 50 who were finding it very difficult to manage, to increase their energy levels, but also reduce their weight. So they basically created online programs, they created online offerings, upsells, downsells, courses, and they literally went from 0 to 7 figures in about 3 years. And so this was from a couple which basically was living on a mattress that couldn't even pay their mortgage. So it's quite interesting just to see. So it can be done, but make sure that you do that. But the other thing that I was going to say, which is the fifth thing, is make sure you do your market research, do your due diligence, find out if there's a market for what you have to offer. And as Les Evans would say, and as I would say, is the best way is to actually look in the complaints department. Find out what people are listening, find out what people are moaning about, find out. So for example, if you wanted to go into the fitness industry as an example, right? I know for a fact that people's mental health is under strain right now because of COVID. So what program could you create which improves people's mental health as well as their physical, spiritual, and emotional health? So it's about kind of looking for those opportunities, areas of opportunity. So I hope that kind of gives you a little bit of grounding advice about where to start and how to start.
Yes, thank you, Adam.
You're very welcome. Very cool. So guys, for you guys that have just come into the session, by the way, we're doing coaching one-on-one, bit of mentoring, but also an opportunity if you have any questions, Q&A session based on the summit for last week as well. You're very welcome to answer any questions and stuff. So who would like to go next? Kelvin? Yeah, you've got your hand up. Go for it. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, Adam. Kelvin here from Malaysia.
Hello, Kelvin. How are you?
Hi, thank you. Currently, I'm in the IT industry, but I soon I'll be retrenched. But for the past many years, I've been thinking about doing something different, more into health and wellness. Mm-hmm. So lately, I've been thinking about learning vibrational sound therapy or healing therapy, and also thinking part of the value ladder that I can offer to the clients would be combining this with some kind of health supplements, and with a little bit of health coaching as well. But of course, all these areas are completely new to me. And now, due to this COVID-19, to do something online, and furthermore, the key challenge, or I would say key factor challenge I would have to face will be in terms of experience. Yeah, after I've gained this knowledge, how can I be selling this to any potential customers?
Yeah.
Either through webinar, selling myself this idea, then how to attract these people. And most importantly is, can I monetize all these ideas into reality in this case, during this tough time, I would say.
That's a great question. It's a really good question. And I think a brief answer to your question is anything you create right now has to be done digitally. We live in the digital world right now. And, for people that are in the product or service driven business, right, there's no such thing as normality is going to return. That's just the reality. You've got to learn how to create a digital online business. And I think the answer to your question is that even though you're right at the very beginning, one of the things that we do with a lot of our clients is to outline essentially how would it work. So, example, one of the things that I would say right now is, which I think is really important, especially in the digital world, is getting social proof. Social proof, as in testimonials, as in reviews. You've got to get people to sell for you rather than you have to sell. Does that make sense? So that's the first thing. The second thing, and I talked about this on Clubhouse yesterday, is you've got to learn how to build your confidence. And you can build your confidence by being competent. All right. So you can't just go into an industry. You can't just say, I'm a coach. You can't just say, I'm a tree surgeon. You can't just say, I'm an accountant, right? Without at least some competence. Because if you're not competent, then you're doing an injustice to your audience. Does that make sense? So you've got to learn to become competent. So if it's healing that you want to go into, as an example, right? And you want to become a healer. Now, I know a good friend of mine who has turned his business. He's a healer, and he only works with high net worth individuals and celebrities. Now, he makes 7 figures all day long, and I'm talking in pounds, not in US dollars. I'm talking in pounds. So you can add 1.4 to that. So, and essentially one of the things that he's been doing, and he's been on a journey for the last 8 to 10 years. He's from a small country called, I think it was something like Macedonia or Albania, some really small country, small population and whatever it is. Grew up in poverty and things like that, and went through some traumas as such, had a compelling story, created a great book. In fact, he's got a number of different books which have become bestsellers, leveraged his credibility, become an industry authority, charges a premium for his services. And that's how essentially he's grown his business. In your case, and in anyone's case, if you're looking at going into an industry where you're thinking to yourself, do you know what? I'd like to go into this, but I'm just not sure how to do it. I think first things first is that you've got to get clarity on, number one is, and when I say clarity, and one of the things that we teach on our accelerator program, for example, is we teach people the foundations. So if you can imagine, you've got a house, you've got to lay down the foundations first before you put the bricks on. Otherwise, it's just going to start sinking. So the first thing that I would endorse you to do is to go back to, what is my purpose? What is my purpose in life? What is my purpose in my business? That's the first thing you've got to do. Secondly is, what is my vision? What is like my long-term vision, right? And this is really important, guys. What is my long-term vision, okay? All right. And this goes back to the next point, which is, what is my legacy, right? Legacy as in, like, when I pass the world, as in I'm not here anymore and I don't exist anymore, what is the legacy that I want to lead my clients? What is the legacy I want to lead the world? Okay. So that's the third point. Number 4 is to make sure that you have a set of values that you have written down and that you are practicing, executing, and showing off every day. And Puntach had answered a question around how I got in touch with these big influencers, is because I have values, but I demonstrate them through my events, for example. I demonstrate that through giving value, and I'm a man of my own word, and I actually execute and take action off the back of that. So go back to those core foundations. Once you've got those core foundations in place, then you can start thinking about, okay, what is the big marketing message? What is the message that I want to create? What is going to resonate with my audience? Okay, what is the language that I need to use? Okay, because you're not going to want to attract everybody. Okay, there's going to be a specific type of audience that you're going to talk to, right? There's going to be a specific type of language that you need to use. And so in order to do that, you've got to create a unique marketing message, which is going to help you essentially resonate with your audience, so that they enticed to buy, and they trust in what you are actually saying to them. And then you can then learn to monetize that. You talked about value ladder, which is great. So, it's the same with anything. Once you've created that message, you've then got to think to yourself, well, I've got to generate traffic, right? So traffic, as in I've got to generate organic or non-organic traffic. I've got to create some interest somehow. Where's it going to come from? Is it going to come from content creation? Is it going to come from, am I going to pay for advertisements on Facebook or on Instagram? So I've now got to think about, where is my traffic going to then come from? And then how are they then going to be able to purchase whatever it is that I'm going to purchase? Am I going to offer something on a product basis? As in, if, for example, and I've seen this been done before, Russell Brunson through ClickFunnels works with a business, and all his business was a supplement business. So his first landing page was actually was something for free. It was a free ebook, okay, and the free ebook was like literally an exercise ebook, and it was all about how to increase your metabolism, your energy, and that was basically the benefits. And then the upsell page was, we've got this special offer, the special offer of buying a month's worth of supplements at this special promo price. And then the upsell on top of that was, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you buy 3 bottles instead of buying 1? And then the next upsell was like, why not buy 3 bottles, buy 10 bottles type of thing. So he created this, what I call value ladder, and a complete sales funnel on the back end. And literally this guy just makes money while he sleeps. He really does. And there is no services involved. There's no healing involved. He just sells supplements, this particular chap. But it works down like a tree. So once you created that product, once you created that, what I call, you productized your idea. The next thing is then using your personal brand to build trust and credibility. All right. So it already mentioned in this call around the importance of social proof and testimonials. You need those social proof and testimonials because, again, it's going to attract people. It's a bit like TripAdvisor. So if I want to go to a hotel or a resort in Bali, for example, right, I'm going to go onto TripAdvisor and I'm going to see who's got the best testimonials and reviews. Okay. Exactly the same the way the digital world works. Okay. If you want to create something, you've got to have the social proof to back it up. All right. And then the last thing is, once you've got that personal branding, fifth thing, which is the most important, is then to create a way in which you can then scale and grow. And that's done through one of two ways. Firstly is to create a culture of, what is the culture that you want to create? So for us in our company, our culture is excellence and being an A player, right? So everyone delivers this wow experience for our clients. That is our culture. And then empowering people along the way. But as well as that is then using joint ventures and partnerships to then scale. And as I mentioned in my presentation last week around tribes, you want to create what they call more torch bearers. You create more torch bearers that are able to then able to then share your message and what you have to offer the world to their own contacts. So then you're able to then scale on a much bigger basis on a global level. So I hope that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. But I think two main challenges I think for sure I'm going to face to start up this one. First, because energy is something that we can't see, right? We can't see, we can't feel. So how to make those potential customer to believe that this kind of healing works for them. And second major challenge would be experience, as I mentioned earlier on. So without experience, then I guess for starting, I won't be getting any testimonials at all. It's zero, right? Yeah, but I do have some ideas. Yeah, to gain experience. That could be many ways, maybe through contact list via email to get contacts and then invite them to some kind of webinar to explain to them what all this all about, and then slowly build up that community or confidence in them on buying the service from me. I think it's still a long way to go, I guess. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, with experience, Kelvin, you can only get experience by actually doing what you want to do. So if you want to go into healing, well, what can you do with healing? So I've got a great idea for you, by the way. And Adam Cox did a little bit about this actually on the first session of the summit, which is essentially creating audios, starting up a podcast, for example, and creating like mini hypnosis series, because that has a great way to really tap into the subconscious mind. And you don't necessarily have to, you have to obviously start healing with the mind, especially with everything going on. And you can do that through audio, you can do that through video. It might be that you want to create, for example, a 3-step mini video course. Okay. And you could offer it for free. At the end of that, when you go through these 3 mini videos, they don't have to be long. They could just be 5 minutes long. So you could teach them and go through a process of healing the mind through hypnosis, as an example, or a 3-step mini series about how you can, and think about this. And this is how I say to people is what exactly is the pain? Okay. And what is the pleasure? All right. So where are you taking them from the pain and where is the pleasure? And that 3-step mini video series needs to accomplish that. So you have to give people, and again, this is something that I teach a lot of my clients. Tom will tell you actually, because he's on the call now, is talking about the differences between features and benefits, right? So if I take my iPhone right now, okay, the feature of this iPhone, what is it, XS, is that it's got a, 20 megapixel camera. It takes high definition videos, right? That's a feature of this, okay? But the benefit of this is that I can create sharp images of high definition that comes out crystal clear and it makes me look really professional. That's a benefit, okay? So when you're essentially creating this message and you're speaking to people, you've got to speak to people on a more feature versus benefits type of conversation. So I hope that kind of understands. But also, as I mentioned to you, you really got to think about, don't worry about experience. If you ask people there'll be a guinea pig as an example, or you ask them if they would like to, say, for example, you found 10 people who might be interested in doing something with you, ask them, or you're not going to charge them any money, but the best way to do it is to ask them at the end of whatever it is that you're doing for them. Say, for example, you're going through a live hypnosis with a group of 10 people, ask them for testimonials. It's easy to get social proof and testimonials. Just say to them, you don't need to pay a penny. All I'm asking for is feedback and your opinion. People love giving feedbacks and opinions. And if they get results, or if they get the results that you tell them that you're going to get, you'll get the testimonials. And really, the ideal amount of testimonials you'll need for any product launch or service launch or whatever it might be is 10. 10 is the magic number, or a minimum 5. Hope that makes sense.
Thanks, Adam.
You're very welcome. Let's see. Tom's just said benefit is create menu. Absolutely, man. The value of stopping smoking is better health. The benefit of having more energy to play with their children. Absolutely. And, it's absolutely imperative. And I think, Kelvin, if you read some of the comments that Tom has actually put up, I think he's really put up some really great points there. And he's he's taken all the points on board, because he's part of our accelerator program as well, and part of our private mastermind club, which is great. So perfect. Hope that answers your question. Who else would like to ask me a question as well? By the way, I want to say hi to Tom. Tom, unmute yourself, buddy.
Hi there. How you doing?
Very good. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good.
It's great to speak.
I'd catch up. I saw this advertised. I thought I'd catch up with you.
Absolutely. Well, we are just having a catch up. We're having some great coaching with some of these guys who are on the summit, and most are from Malaysia, which is great, and China. So it's just great to see everyone and that kind of stuff. But so it's great to see you as well. looking forward to working with you in the next month or so, even though we continue to work with each other anyway.
Yeah, very much. I haven't got many contacts in Malaysia. I've got some in Singapore, but not too far away. But
very good.
Very different place, distinctly different, I'm sure.
Tom, tell the guys what you do.
I missed the end of the question. Sorry, I heard tell the guys.
Tell the guys what you do.
I'm the voice of trees. I'm a tree consultant, but I'm a spokesperson for trees. I promote trees and the environment.
Yeah,
that's my passion. My day job is inspecting trees and doing tree reports. But my wider remit, what I get up is to promote trees, to improve the environment in and around our cities, the immediate environment.
Yeah, very good. So, what do you have a call to action, or do you have someone saying that you're looking for?
For a client or for internationally, it would just be to promote the value and benefit of trees. So to connect with people. Yeah. I'm Tom Thompson, tree consultant on LinkedIn. If people want to connect with me there, I'm sure they can find me on your page as one of your followers on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
And yeah, just promoting environmental awareness, really.
Very cool. Tom's actually on the Game Changers Global Facebook group, so connect with him on there. Drop him a personal message or whatever it is. But it's great to see you, buddy. I really appreciate you jumping on. Really good to see you, guys. If you have any other coaching questions, mentoring questions, if you cannot, it'd be great to I was going to say, put yourself forward, put yourself on mute, undo your camera, and if you can't actually do that, then feel free to use the chat box if you need to. So are there any further questions that you have in terms of moving forwards, guys? Because this is a great opportunity, by the way. I don't do these sessions very often, but when I do them, I have a lot of fun, which is great. So I know Gerald was on here yesterday. Who else have we got on here? Calvin, we're done. Christiane, we're done. Okay, in fact, let me go back to the chat box because I know there were a load of questions that came up while I was yapping on. Let's have a look. I think I answered that question, Calvin. That's fine. Yeah. Cool. Have you guys got any further questions at all in terms of moving forwards? By the way, Puntouch, you should have access to the Academy now. So you should be able to have access to all of the...
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. There's going to be some great stuff on there. Tom was actually part of the last summit as well. He was one of our participants. Great summit, last one. And in the next few weeks, we're going to be filling it up with more stuff in the Academy as well. So you're going to have a whole pool of resources and knowledge to be able to take things to the next level. So, and also that goes to all of the future summits that we're going to be going in as well. That will also go into the Academy as well. So you'll be able to get access to all of that. So it was good. It was a great turkey in action on that. Definitely 100%. Well done. So guys,
thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Anyway, I have a question, I have a question. You talked about Russell Brunson, and I think you have done the ClickFunnels, right?
Say that again. Sorry, what's your question?
You have worked with Russell Brunson before? I mean, business together.
I worked with who? Sorry.
Have you done a business together with Russell Brunson?
Oh, Russell Brunson. No, I haven't done any business with him, but I'm one of his clients.
Okay. ClickFunnels, right? Yeah.
Yes. But
it's a wonderful app, wonderful software.
Yeah, he does. He has a sales funnel software, but me and my team are in touch with his team. So watch this space and see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, you talk about the supplements, on the ClickFunnels. Actually, I do the consulting business, and I also do the network marketing business as the side hustle, So do you have like a suggestion on doing network marketing on the funnels? On the webinars and stuff like that?
It's a great question. And network marketing for sales funnels definitely works. It depends on the product or whatever it might be. But there's, in fact, one recommendation that I would definitely check out is that Russell Brunson wrote a great book called Network Marketing Secrets. which you can buy off on, I don't know, Amazon or whatever it is available in China. But check out Network Marketing Secrets. If you go to, in fact, what I'll do is I'll try and find the link. I'll send you the link, and then I think the link that I have, it's a free book, and then you just pay for delivery. So I'll send you the link.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, I'm from Thailand, not
Thailand,
China.
Sorry, I apologize.
Thailand. Yeah.
Network Marketing Secrets. I'll send it across in a direct message.
Thank you.
So guys, any further questions at all with regards to today's coaching session? If you have any ideas.
Adam, hi.
Hello, who's that?
Hi, Adam.
Hello, it's Gerald. How are you?
Hi, Adam. I'm just curious about this coming year. What are some of the monetization channels or strategies that can be more lucrative than others? Like, for example, for yourself, what kind of business would you consider venturing into in this day and age? What kind of business would you do, and how do you make it successful despite the pandemic?
Yeah, it's a good question, actually. Well, for me, I only go into industries that I have an interest in, regardless of the situation. I think that the pandemic, believe it or not, has actually opened up a pool of opportunities for people, particularly in property, particularly in network marketing, particularly in consulting. People always need personal development. People always are interested in making a high returns on their investments, whether it be through property, whether it be through commodities. One thing that I actually got started on when was this? About 3 or 4 months ago, I got involved in an industry that I don't particularly know a lot of knowledge. I don't have a lot of knowledge of, which is in trading. So, but the beauty about this was that I actually invested in a company that have basically created a system which uses artificial intelligence to trade money for you without having to do so much work. Because as you guys know, I'm extremely busy. I have 3 companies. I had 3 companies, 4 kids. I'm in 3 different countries all the time. So welcome to my world, I guess, in a way. But literally, there's some great opportunities out there. As long as the pandemic for me, I'll tell you what I wouldn't go into if that's going to help. I wouldn't go into anything right now into hospitality. I just wouldn't go into that right now because they're really killing it. Restaurants, no, definitely not. And also anything to do with travel right now is just a no-no. So those particular industries I would stay away from. You can definitely look into fintech or tech in general. Tech is always going to be there. And personal development is always going to be there as well, because people are always looking ways in which they can upskill themselves and improve themselves. Commodities, it depends on the interest, but those are the industries that I wouldn't look at. And anything is scalable. So I hope that kind of answers your question. I know it's probably not the answer to your question that you're really looking for, but I think it depends on your passions and your interests and, what kind of gets you fired up.
I think that's an excellent answer. Thank you very much, because it kind of gives you the perspective. I mean, it keeps you grounded on what can be done and what not, and gives you the confidence to choose the thing that works for you. However, having said that, I'm very curious to ask you the next question is that I think most of us here, we have attended numerous summits, webinars, we have learned from so many different experts, but then it comes back to the real world where there are 2 groups of people, one who learns a lot, and then there's another group that really crush it, the people with success and makes lots of money who crush it. And I'm sure all the speakers that you brought on stage, like last weekend, they have all crushed it in their industry and make a name for themselves, and make a brand for themselves. What makes them successful and not the other people? And how can we be like that?
Yeah, it's a great question. And the reason why those people are so successful is because, number one, is that they're doing something that they ultimately enjoy doing, right? So, for example, with Marshall Goldsmith as an example, He's been in the leadership realm for 47 years. He's not a stranger to the personal development industry. He's doing he could pretty much pack everything in and, live a happy life, live a happy retired life. He does it because he really enjoys doing it. He doesn't see it as work. He sees it as passion. And I think that's the same with a lot of the speakers that we had, is they do it because they enjoy doing it. Like I put on a summit, I gave up my free time with my family to spend it with you guys because it's something that I really enjoy doing. I really I enjoy having fun. I love giving value. I love impacting people. I don't worry about if it's going to make money because that's the wrong mindset. I know that money comes later. But I think what makes people successful, especially like myself and some of the speakers, is living by those values, living by a vision, living by a mission, and really understanding your purpose in life, why you're actually on this earth in the first place. And and living by those set of values every single day and make sure that they never come compromised, regardless. So I hope that kind of answers.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's great.
You're welcome. So are there any other further questions, guys? Oh,
any further questions? How can I get them sent across later on?
Say that again. Sorry, Calvin.
If I do have any personal questions later on, how do I send them across?
Oh yeah,
by email.
Please either email me. My email is hello@adamstrong.net. Hello@adamstrong.net. Alternatively, connect with me on social media. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. So if there are any other further questions, guys, if not, then we'll close the chat.
Adam, perhaps one last question from me. When you progress in your business and you do a lot of deals with people, even the speakers that you brought on stage, I'm sure at the end of the day, there's some kind of mutual agreement, like if I were to do this, this is what you get, this is what I get. So, I mean, of course, it's always good to add value first, but then at the end, the question will come back to what's in it for me, right? What am I doing, spending my time, putting the effort and doing this? So how do you negotiate a deal that can be worth your time as well as the other person's time, so that everything you get into you'll be a win-win situation for everybody that's involved?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I think from my perspective, when I look at that, number one, I find out what's important to them. So what's important to them, I know what's important to them, whether it be about serving people. Like for John Demartini, he's read 38,000 books. What's important to him is to be able to impact other people around the world and share his knowledge. That's what's important to him. So if I can effectively help him do that, then I can give him a platform to be able to help him reach his message on a much bigger scale. So you've got to learn you've got to make sure you do your due diligence. You've got to find out what's important to people. You've got to find out what makes them tick. What's their passion in life? What gets them motivated? What gets them fired up? What's important to their life in terms of their values. So that to me, when people come from me from a place of, I would like to help you achieve your goals, because if I help, and Jack Canfield taught me this, the more that I help people, the more that I help you guys achieve what you want to achieve in life, the more that I get back in return. I get the rewards later on. The more that I give, the more that I get back in return. It's as simple as that. I'm not successful if you're not successful. It's another quote from one of my coaches and mentors, and it's so true. So I give it as good as I get, okay? And when it comes to sharing, understanding what the win-win situation is, with a lot of the speakers that we've had on the summits, for example, they come from word of mouth recommendations from other speakers as well. So, for example, we had a guy, one of our speakers from our last summit, who's Canadian. He suffered from a brain injury and was in hospital for the best part of 6 months. And his story is that he was sitting in a hospital bed, feeling sorry for himself, and on the TV came on when he was sitting and watching in the hospital, and it was Jack Canfield. And Jack had said in this, literally, I think it was like an infomercial or a kind of a show or whatever it might be. And something resonated with this particular guy. His name was called Forrest Willett. And suddenly it just triggered something in his subconscious mind, and thought to himself, do you know what? I'm not going to sit here and just let my life waste away. If I'm going to make some, rather than kind of being a victim of fate, is to be a winner, you know? And so that really stuck in his subconscious mind. And from that, he then changed his life around, literally just changed his life around. He also became a student of Jack Canfield's, and now he teaches Jack Canfield's methodologies and programs around the world. And from that, he obviously introduced us to Jack Canfield himself. And through myself and Jack, who we're now good friends, Jack is a multi-millionaire in his own right. You know, he's written Chicken Soup for the Soul and Chicken Soup for the Soul, the whole series. He was the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul with Mark Victor Hansen. And it was one of the most successful personal development books in the 20th century. And, he continues to serve people, Jack does. And this is the reason why we get on so well. And, it was just through that introduction. And again, I'm speaking to a lady tomorrow, actually, who we're actually going to be doing some business with. She's a multi-millionaire as well, based in the United States. And literally, I just reached out to her on LinkedIn. And because I'd seen her and been her in action, I'd done my due diligence and offered a connection, built a relationship, and added some value to her because she wanted to get her book into Europe. And I know some connections, so I connected her with the right people. She obviously got some value from our conversation, and now we're going to be having a formal conversation tomorrow about where we're gonna take things to the next level. So if you put people's goals first and try and help them and put yourself in their shoes, try and help others first before you think about yourself, then I can guarantee you, and then again, making sure that you have zero expectations. It's really important to make sure that you have zero expectations, because if you have expectations, you become disappointed, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say. And it's the same in anything, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in a joint venture partnership opportunity. If you have an expectation, you become disappointed. But make sure that, like in our case, when we ran the summit, yes, there is a level of expectation. Yes, there is these are the rules, guys. Let's make sure that we're all congruent. We all are aligned to the same goals, and that we're all kind of singing off the same hymn note. Everyone understood what we actually had to offer in terms of the summit, and that's how it worked really, really well. So I hope that kind of answers your question.
Thank you so much. You're such a great interviewee. I love to hear this kind of great answers. As a journalist, I interview many people, and these are the kind of interviews that I love doing. So maybe one day I can speak to you again.
Absolutely.
Ask you more questions.
Yeah, my door's always open to people. If you want to have a conversation offline, just send me a direct message. I'll see if I can help you in any way, shape, or form that I can. We as a business only take on 6 one-on-one clients a year, but then we have our other programs because we just want to focus on serving people, and we want to impact people on a much larger scale. We can only really do that by creating as much value as we can by doing things like summits, doing podcasts, running the show, and things like that, really. So, but yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, it's such a huge privilege to be able to have this one-to-one chat with you and to gain so much from your wisdom. I really look forward to a next opportunity to have this conversation again.
Absolutely, you're very welcome. And guys, if you did get some value from today's show, from today's coaching session, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, then connect with me on other social media channels. If you want to write something a little bit about me, or you want to record a quick video about me, no problem. Be really happy to receive it. Fantastic. I don't have any expectations from anybody. If you want to do it, great, fantastic. If I've added some value to you, then fantastic. Same again. So, but yeah, no, I really appreciate your kind comments. hello@adamstrong.net. All right, good. Well, listen, it was great to jump on here. It's great to see Tom, Calvin, Puntouch, Gerald, Christian, and Albert. It's great to see you guys on here. Feel free to reach out to me on social media, DM me, or drop me a message in the message via email. I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, absolutely. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure that you listen into Game Changers Experience podcasts. If you want to continue listening to some wicked interviews, we just had Ash Lawrence actually just came. His show actually just came out today, which was a really great show. So I would definitely take a listen to that, because we were talking about sports performance and business. Just some really great conversations. But we've got some great shows coming up on the podcast. And happy Tuesday, everybody. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Adam.
You're very welcome.
Good to catch up on a more cozy, relaxed manner.
Absolutely. We're going to be doing some stuff on Clubhouse as well. So if you guys are on Clubhouse, make sure you follow me on Clubhouse, because I'm going to be doing a lot of great events on there as well, and be adding even more value to you guys. So make sure that you check that out as well. Thank you.
It's such a great privilege to speak to you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for your kind comments.
And all your summits, the speakers were great. I feel that I have a lifetime of learning just attending the 2-day event.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power at the end of the day, but implementation is even better, because you need knowledge, because that will give you the power, but really without implementation, it means nothing. I see so many people that come to my summits, they come to my events, they become sponges and they learn these great skills from these great speakers, but they fail to implement. Nothing changes for them. They don't change their habits, their routines. They don't change their mindset. They don't implement, and they fail to understand that, what we teach it's not, it's really very high level stuff. This is something that you just don't get access to every day of your life. This is like once in a lifetime opportunity. And what you do with the information is entirely up to you, of course. But I know for a fact, working and studying and working with entrepreneurs and business owners from around the world, is that people who write this in their notebooks, they take their notebook, and unfortunately it sits on a shelf and it gathers dust, and they fail to implement. That's the reality. 95% of people do that. And that's the difference between winners and losers. The winners are the ones that implement. They're the winners, the ones that really take things on board to a whole new level. The losers are the ones that just don't change. They know it all, and they think that they know everything. But in reality, as Dr. John D. Martini would say, is knowledge is power. You are continuing to learn. We are all students of life, and we have to continue to learn and upskill all the time, because we can never learn enough. We're not perfect human beings. There's always room for improvement. And as I said in the summit, is that perfectionism is poverty. Don't wait around for things to be perfect. Don't wait around for the economy. Don't wait for COVID to go. Don't wait around for life just to kind of come back to normal, because guess what? There will never, ever be a perfect time to launch a business, to take things to the next level, to take yourself to the next level. It's entirely up to you how you take things on board. But also the other thing I was going to say is for Albert and Calvin in particular, we also have our Game Changers Academy, which gives you the pool of resources that you need in order to take things to the next level. You have access to all of the stuff from the summit, of this summit and the previous summit. There's over 100 hours worth just to kind of take in, and then you can take out what things that you learn from particular speakers and implement it into your own business. And what I found is that everyone is always looking for a shortcut to success, right? That's what everyone is looking for. But if what we do is we provide our clients with the tools and the necessary resources so that you can go faster. So stop trying to reinvent the wheel and trying to look for a different path or a different way or different, what I call using the excuse societies to which is holding you back. And I see so many entrepreneurs and business owners that sabotage themselves time and time and time again because they go back to doing the same things as what they used to do. All right. Don't be one of those people. Take the points on board. Okay. Because at the end of the day, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And after all that, I wish you guys a happy day. Hope you got out today's sessions and looking forward to connecting with you guys on social media or on email. Cheers and have a good day. See you soon. Cheers, guys.
Hey, you guys, I just want to say thank you so much for listening in to this episode of the Game Changers Experience. I hope that you got some amazing value, some great insights, and golden nuggets that you can implement into your business straight away. I would really, really appreciate it if you could leave a 5-star review on the button below. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.